This is Dolynny TV, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another edition of Edmonton Oilers discussion here on the channel. Following up on that Taylor Hall news from yesterday. No, not really. Just adding on an extra thing that Mark Spector talked about in his column, the Ask Spec Mailbag, if you would, on Sportsnet over the weekend. There was another nugget in there. I'm sure you've seen it kind of floating around here on Monday. I know Sam sent it to me, making sure things are covered, and that was the plan for today, to discuss Sam Gagner and his future with the Edmonton Oilers, because there is a little bit of a future, and my goodness, that vein is popping out crazily. I need to get some water into me. She's been a hard day today. But yeah, it's a little bit of a future for Sam Gagner. So guys, with that, let's get to the news. I'm outside. It's a beautiful day. Let's get to it, shall we? So you see here, Mr. Mark Spector answering the question, do you think Sam Gagner is worth re-signing? And he said, well, I bet Gagner signs in Edmonton, and here's why. I believe GM Ken Holland sees Gagner as a future member of his front office, the way he did with Dan Cleary, Chris Draper, and Kirk Maltby up in Detroit. You can look that up for sure if you want to get a little bit more stuff on that. Now, Gagner wants to continue his NHL career, but no matter where he plays, he will be a sub $1 million player. We've heard this for a long time. There's no joke and inside or out on this. We've heard this one for a long time, that it's probably a $900,000 deal for Mr. Sam Gagner no matter where he signs next year. Now, that also is on a one-year deal. With the cap issues faced by NHL teams, Gagner's agent will have to work to find him a place that is a better fit than Edmonton. And that's kind of the thing, right? Is Edmonton's a good fit for him? Because, well, obviously, we'll get to it in this next thing, where, meanwhile, Gagner's home is in Edmonton. His family, 3 kids, is here. And as we said, we see his off-ice future here as well. So that's kind of straight up, right? There's home is here, the future's here, and it just makes sense. It's kind of what we're getting throughout this. Gagner has made a lot of money in his NHL career, over $33 million. My goodness. You believe that? Sam Gagner, since way back when he first started playing for us, has made over $33 million. Who would have believed that? And would likely sign in Edmonton as a fourth-line winger with the skills to move up when needed and the persona to help the Oilers' young leaders succeed. Here's the thing. Sam Gagner re-signs in Edmonton. It's not as a fourth-line forward. It would be in the role he was in earlier in the season as a 13th, 14th forward, and that's fine, that's dandy, and that is totally good with me. And my goodness, that vein is absolutely freaking me out, guys. Need to get some water into me after this. You see how red my cheeks are as well, sitting in the direct sun. That's it. All right. He has the persona to help the Oilers' young leaders succeed. Yes, we know that. And Gagner is at the point in his career where the person is as important as the player, and he can still fill a limited role on ice. You want him on your team. That's how Mark Spector ends up ending this little question and answer on Sam Gagner, is the fact that you want him on your team. He's that kind of guy. He's that player you want to build the young core of players into the next generation of Edmonton Oilers talent. Simply put, that is all you want him to do. And to a degree, in I believe the 4 games we had him down in Bakersfield this year, that's exactly what he did, right? Everybody raved in Bakersfield about the professional, the man, Sam Gagner. Sam the man. They weren't raving about the hockey player. Yeah, he had 4 points in 4 games, I believe, but they were raving about the fact of his character, who he is as a person, all of that. That is the man, not the hockey player, the man, Sam Gagner. So that's the interesting part in here. And I mean, here's the thing that I know the Oilers have been guilty of in the past few years. We've talked several times about rushing players through their development, right? Instead of starting them in the CHL for an extra year and then bringing them to the A for a year and then bringing them up into the NHL finally after 2 to 3 years of being in the system, we just put them in at an 18-year-old pace and they go to town and see what you can do. 9 points in 12 games, ooh, that's good. 9 points in 36 games, get the heck out of here, go away because you're terrible, and we have no clue why. Well, right, that's part of the rushing of development. But the other side of that is not having veterans that can teach these young guys how to play, right? And you think, in terms of guys that are capable of doing that, I think Sam Gagner is that guy. He's a guy very capable of showing younger guys, especially Edmonton Oilers, because what I just listed about rushing a guy through his development stuff, Sam Gagner has been all through that. So any young guy that learns from Sam Gagner is going to learn quickly, because he hopefully, under the Ken Holland plan, has been brought along a little bit slower and a little bit better, And then all of a sudden you have Sam Gagner in there helping a kid out and saying, whoa, kid, man, I did not have it this easy. You got it easy. Here's what you need to keep in check. Here's what you need to double check. And here's how you just all around become a better pro. Because that's the hard part. A winning team is not just a big scorer and a couple good defense. No, a winning team, a Stanley Cup winning team, you look at the teams that have won Stanley Cups in the past 20 years, they have pros, they have legends. But a lot of these legends on their team are not legends 100% because they're top 5 scorers in NHL history. Some, yeah, maybe an Alex Ovechkin, sure. But it's not that. It's they're pros. They're pros of the NHL. They've been around for several years. They've done the job. They know how to do the job. They know how to get the job done. And that's why they end up winning at some point. Is it takes a commitment to being a professional to win at the professional sports level, right? Obviously, the same thing in a junior setting. It takes a little bit of, well, will to win, right? Simply put, will to win. That's what it takes. And that's something that you don't get just naturally. It's something you have to develop. And that's, I mean, you can put up 90 points and ask Alex Ovechkin for the first how many ever years of his career. He put up goals, but never got anywhere. Because that will to win, that desire to win wasn't fully there yet. And then that cup year, my goodness, look at Ovechkin. Look at him, right? So, similar. And you want to talk about Taylor Hall? Maybe that's why I have the bone to pick with Taylor Hall. Anybody that mentioned yesterday while he got tired of being blamed for the lack of success in Edmonton, well, you know what? It's the will to win. Suck it up. Get over it and go out there and win. You can say the other team's failing. Guess what? As a pro, you do everything you can and you make everybody around you better. If you can't do that, that's where we are sitting with the whole Taylor Hall situation, isn't it? And that's why I've got my misgivings with Taylor Hall, man. I'm just gonna keep going on the Taylor Hall thing because my goodness, guys, does that get people fired up? There are 2 recipes to success on Edmonton Oilers land. Talk about Jesse Puljujärvi and talk about Taylor Hall, and you've got people fired up and interested ASAP. Anyway, back to Sam Gagner. Sam Gagner, okay, so we talk about the pro, we talk about the player, we talk about the guy in the dressing room, the guy creating young rookies doing the job right. That's fine and dandy. The front office part of this is very interesting as well. The front office part is definitely the next evolution, right? Is finally you will have done somebody right. Because, I guess, how do we put it? Once an Oiler, always an Oiler? Well, to do it with Sam Gagner would be right. And then obviously, who's the next? Who would be the next Edmonton Oiler, drafted, developed, played, all that, to become down that path? What that sets up the path for, hopefully, and my goodness, it better, is Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to become an integral part. Now, okay, all of a sudden we're creating our own old boys club. See how it goes? But that's the way it should happen. Technically speaking, the old boys club isn't bad if it works. And that's, well, hopefully what the Oilers are trying to create under Ken Holland, a succession plan, if you would, right? And I'm not talking Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is going to the front office tomorrow or next year or the year after, but you get Sam Gagner in there, and then you get some guys that have been through this organization in times when they weren't so great, and more current NHL players, right? You're talking the guys that formed the Old Boys Club played in the 80s and 90s at best, some maybe into the early 2000s. Well, by the time we kicked most of them out of the office this past summer, that's 20 years removed from their last NHL game. So the game has changed, and now to bring some blood in that's played more recently, that's going to be the interesting part here of Ken Holland's plan that we haven't gotten to see yet, and that Mark Spector is hinting towards with the evolution of what takes place with Sam Gagner should the Oilers re-sign him this offseason. So it's going to be interesting, guys, that's for sure. But, I mean, that hinges directly on the fact that the Oilers sign Sam Gagner this offseason from Detroit, because Stevie Y might know what, Ken Holland's up to there, might have something to say about Sam Gagner staying in Detroit to do exactly what Ken Holland might want him to do in Edmonton. That's the interesting part, right? Hockey, hey man, top dollar, right? Whoever's paying top dollar and whoever's given the best role, that's where you go. That's generally how it works, except for the only thing that Mark Spector seems to be hitting home on here with Sam Gagner is the fact that Edmonton is home for Sam Gagner. And, well, you know what, it makes sense. But we'll stay tuned, we'll figure it out, and we'll find out what happens here. We've still got NHL playoffs to get to, baby. It is 20 degrees in southern Alberta. Fine, sunny southern Alberta this afternoon. Go enjoy it. I'm going to go get some water into me so as my veins calm down because I'm really not liking seeing this one pop out. Is that something that normally happens in videos, or am I about to die here? I'm not sure. Guys, let me know. I'm Tyson, this is Dolynny TV. I will catch you in the next one.